morning, everybody. My name is Charles Sine. I'm the CEO for Anti-Fragility Health Clinic. We have a clinic here where we have a workshop every day, every Saturday, and we also have a clinic in Vietnam. I want to welcome our very good guests in the clinic and online. Jad is here. Thank you, Jad, for being here. And we have Grace, who very gracious was here early to set everything up. Thanks, Grace. We have Elizabeth. And then we have Biade. Happy New Year, Biade. And I always forget Angela's husband's name.
Bo.
Bo.
Yes.
Bo, thank you for Happy New Year also. I don't think I've seen you this year. Your wife made a good cake yesterday. We have Mike, videographer. We have Angela and we have Louise. Dr. Yi is here, president of the clinic. We have Kim. You know Kim is joining us in Vietnam. She's flying out in 2 weeks. She'll be running our Vietnam operations. And we have Desiree. This is your first time at the workshop. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Desiree, for coming. And we have Dinah. Thank you, Dinah. We also have a show today in Anaheim. They have the Black Festival. So Vincent and Helen are out there manning a table talking about some of the same things that we'll be talking about today. So we changed the topic for today because the topic is becoming very topical. Everybody's thinking seriously about it. We were going to order masks to take to Vietnam, and both China, Korea have banned masks being exported because the countries need them for their virus strategy reaction. So we are gonna carry some masks to Vietnam when I go in a week or two. So today we're gonna talk about the coronavirus, and we're gonna talk about really an architectural response, right? How people should respond, because you know one of the things about our immune system. So let's just talk about. I'll start briefly with this, but I have to go back so that we have context. So when we look at our immune system, there are two parts to our immune system. What's the first part, Kim? We have innate.
Oh.
We have the innate system, and we have the adaptive system. So innate is the one that you came with from your genetics, that you inherited. And so you know that for children who are born normally, they come with a really robust innate immune system because they carry their mother's bacteria, microbiome, and the underlying genetics. That creates an architecture that is their initial significant response. So that innate response system.
You say naturally, does that mean no C-section or just no C-section?
Yeah, if you have C-section, then the immune system is already compromised.
Okay.
Yes, that's why I'm saying natural.
Okay.
Yes, C-section is not natural.
I'm making a distinction.
Yes, C-section is not natural. So that's the natural immune system that you come with a fully formed microbiome. So what is our microbiome? We're going to be talking about this. Can you bring them notebooks and some water or some drinks, please? Thank you. So your microbiome is all the bacteria that lives in our GI architecture, that is from the nose, mouth, all the way to where we pee and poo. All that bacteria, including the one on our skin, is called the microbiome. And they live in symbiosis. What's symbiosis? Very interesting English word.
Symbiosis.
Yeah, what's the meaning of
It
it?
means it's
The right.
live happily ever after together.
Yes, and the right English pronunciation is symbiosis. Okay, I know Americans might call it symbiosis. The English pronunciation is symbiosis. Okay, check the dictionary. Okay, so it is mean living in harmony together. So our microbiome is supposed to be giving us, creating that harmony. And that harmony, you know we have more bacteria than cells in our body. So the harmony of that bacteria is very important to our health. And that microbiome is first formed when the baby comes out. That's when the microbiome is first formed. And so if it's a natural birth, you come out with a natural microbiome. That means that you can actually sustain a lot of infections in the early days. So you tend to find out that children who are born through cesarean in the early stages of life suffer a lot of gut illnesses. They don't digest milk well, or they start developing allergies, and that is because of a microbiome that is not naturally compromised, structured. Children who are born naturally tend to already build that capability. So now we're talking about innate immunity. Thank you. Okay. So now let's talk about adaptive. So adaptive is the one that we develop based to our exposure and experiences. So if I come from Africa, we played soccer every day in the mud and drank from the river. We have a different adaptive immune system than somebody who grew up in a house where they clean everything with Clorox. Is that making sense?
Yes. Yeah.
So you have a different adaptive, and those kids who grow up in Clorox tend to be very sickly because they are not used to any new bacteria. Oh, they're sick. They're sick because their body has not developed over time the ability to really. I mean, you should see some of the nasty rivers we swam in.
I know.
Right, Jack?
No.
I mean, if we know now what we know, yeah, we didn't know shit, right? But we swam in some real bullshit rivers, right? And we played in the rain and fell in the soccer rain.
The mosquitoes.
Yeah, and we ate.
So you're probably more stronger at doing something.
Not just more stronger, we are stronger. Yeah. So this adaptive immune system is a very important issue. And that's why if you notice now, as people are moving towards natural products, they're tending to ask you not to use too much Clorox, that you tend to use natural cleaners. Because when you really disinfect everything in your environment, then it really weakens your adaptive immune system. Your immune system was built that way to build you the line of protection, right? Okay. So where does this immune system sit? Where is it?
It's in your gut.
Well, that's 80% of it. That's where we build the wall, right? That is like our own internal wall. It's in the gut. Why is it in the gut?
But that's where like the majority of your organs are?
Yeah, so the gut actually is all the way. It's not just your stomach. So the gut is all the way to the bottom. Yeah, so gut is not just your stomach. So it's everything, right? So why is it there? Because like you said, that's where everything foreign comes in. But it is also somewhere else. Where else? What's the largest organ in the body?
Your skin.
Skin. So that's another layer of protection, right? Insects bite you, it swells immediately. Why? Immune system response, right? Inflammation is the way the body responds to attack and take care of it. So the skin is another layer. So that's why it's very important protecting your skin, putting the right creams and things like that. And the skin is a strong indicator sometimes of what's going on with your immune system. So when you have psoriasis and all of those rashes and things, it's really a strong indication where your skin is demonstrating what's going on. So why am I talking about the gut and immunity? What's the relationship?
Because when your gut compromised, it's weakened.
No, that's not the explanation, but you're on the right track. So when your gut is weak, what happens to the immune system?
It's too busy.
It's too busy.
They're too busy to be, then it's distracted.
It's not compromised.
No, it's busy.
It's busy.
Yeah.
Because it has to pay attention because you are eating McDonald's all the time.
French fries.
And your body has what we call, calm down guys. Our body has what we call nutrient sensing. So it's anticipating that we need to protect because this guy doesn't know how to take care of their stomach. They don't eat good food. So they have to be ready there because that is really the greatest threat to your body, the food that you eat or the things that you drink, right? That is why when you drink poison, it's very difficult for them to resolve it, right? So anything that you take, it's ingested immediately, it's gone. You understand? So this is where the immune system knows it has to deploy. So if your gut is compromised, then the immune system always has to stand ready. And it's not really interested in the other things that are going on because it's like, well, we can deal with that later on, right? So that is why one of the first powerful defense is gut integrity. And we're going to find out that gut integrity is also very important for a lot of other things, right? Because of chronic inflammation. This morning, I was listening to a tape where they said the biggest issue to heart attack is stress. And one of the biggest stress issues is the inflammation, chronic inflammation in your stomach. Stress is really the most important issue for heart attack and stroke. It is not cholesterol or all the other
Also
things we've
sleep.
been taught. Well, that's part of stress. Yeah. So stress has 4 parts. There's sugar response, there's inflammatory response, there's sleep, and there's the perception. So stress, yes, our perception of stress, like I don't like you, that's stressful.
It hurts your feelings.
So you said sugar response, what was the other?
Inflammation,
Inflammation,
sleep,
sleep,
and perception. Yes, right. Like just saying I haven't slept, oh, I'm so stressed. So that's now both. There's the sleep stress and there's the perception stress. Or I want to buy that shoes and I can't afford it. Now you have stress. Right? That's perception. That handbag that I want, I still cannot. You're stressing, right? That's a choice, right? Because you can say I don't need the handbag. Because the handbag doesn't actually resolve the stress, right? Does it? Because once you get the handbag, then you want another handbag. Isn't it?
More expensive handbag.
Why is he commenting so much about this
He has
handbag
to buy it,
stuff?
so he knows. Because he had to buy it.
He has to buy it for me.
I know
Yeah,
he was like,
That's why he's stressed.
That's why he's stressed.
okay. So let's just go back to topic. So I wanted to make sure that we get this context. Then now let's talk about how one then responds to the overall environment with everything that's happening. Okay, so there is what we call acute response. Acute response means that you're already sick, you want a cure right now, and you know that our medical system is built for acute care. That's what acute care is. I'm sick, heal me now. Functional medicine is built for prevention. Because once you're sick, the strategy is very different. And as Americans, so let me just talk about our diet. You know, everybody complains about our diet. Our diet was built around a culture where everybody's in a rush. I want to eat quickly, I want to eat cheaply, I want the taste, and I want to be satisfied, right? So that's how the diet came about. So it's not like the fault of one person. We are all like that. Everybody's. I remember when I first came to the US, I couldn't believe people eat in the car. In Europe, people don't, you can't see people eating in the car or having a big jog like this in traffic. People stop and go eat. But Americans are going to work doing their makeup and biting a burger and doing makeup in the car, right? It's like, what is the rush, right? And so that's what the food manufacturers have done. They've built a food system to cope with the culture of people who don't want to stop. Europeans will sit down and eat breakfast, or in Spain, the lunch goes forever, and they take a nap, and then they go to work, right? And here we think they're lazy, right? But they're healthier. So it's very important that as we look at a lot of these different things, that we begin to get a sense of how we can actually begin to address the issue. So the food that we eat is really fundamental first step in really addressing that gut health. So if not, we are going to create a lot of stress on the gut, which then distracts the immune system. What should the immune system, what is its job really?
To process food?
No, that's not the
Oh,
immune
the immune
system.
system.
Yeah, what is its job?
Keep us healthy.
Protect,
Defense
to fight, to protect.
The
To
cell.
protect, and so that's one, and
To defend.
yes. So those,
Fight or
think
flight.
about it. Those are the two big words. To protect.
And to defend.
Yeah. Why are those words different? The police officer might educate us. What's the difference between protection and defense?
Defend, you're responding to something where
A threat.
you're protecting your, kind of you protect yourself, or you're like, let's say I'm
Already
gonna
happened.
take her property, she's gonna defend her, like, no, this
Yeah,
is mine,
yeah.
it's gonna fight. It's
Okay,
gonna
do
fight.
we understand that? It's very important that we understand. So to threats and vulnerabilities, there are two strategies. One is protection, right? It means that, and when you're protecting, you deploy only the minimal set of resources. When you're defending,
You have to use all sources.
you use
More-
All you
more-
have.
all forces, right? And so what is the biggest challenge when our immune system is distracted? One of the biggest challenge is cancer. Because, so let's talk about cancer, then we'll talk about flu, because flu and all the other illnesses that we catch is a sign of a weakened immune system. So let's talk about the extreme. Cancer, it's like an invasion, right? And it's an invasion from inside that the immune system didn't catch. So where does cancer come from? Cancer comes from cells that are supposed to die that refuse to follow what we call programmed death. So every cell has a clock that programs its death. So, and that's process of dying, it's called senescence. But some cells get to senescence and they say, why?
I'm not leaving.
I don't want to die.
And that's when the immune system will say, no, 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 that's the road. That's the exit. That's the way you're going to go. And when the immune system is distracted, those cells now say, nobody's watching. Let's go do something else, right? And that's when they start spinning and start dividing out of control. Because cancer is not really an illness. Cancer is just cells that are irritating, that have gone out of control and are just dividing. And because they are dividing quicker than the other cells, three things happen. One, they pull all the resources from the good cells. So the good cells are now weaker to fight. Two, your immune system is distracted, so they just grow out of control. And cancer stem cells are really smart because they know that the immune system is going to come for them. They create cancer stem cells and deploy. So even when you kill the original source, they've already deployed. That's why metastasis occurs, right? And we now know even from research that cancer cells can smell chemotherapy. As the drug is coming, they deploy. They can already smell it. Yes. So cancer stem cells, like most of our stem cells, have what we call nutrient sensing. They really, you know how we smell food? By smelling food, the brain already starts a response.
But I'm
Yeah,
hungry.
it gets flowing.
Yes, you know, saliva gets ready, your stomach begins to like say, oh my God, the anticipation, right? Or you're driving past Costco and you can smell the hot dogs.
Oh, that.
And then you start dreaming, right? And then your wife will say, can we just stop at Costco? And you'll be like, oh no, another pizza stop, right? So our nutrient sensing architecture is really very powerful. The same thing cancer cells do. They can sense the nutrients, they pull all the resources, and then they weaken the good part of the body. And then they're really smart. They then cover themselves like other cells. They mask themselves like other cells. So when your killer cells, which are your immune cells, want to come fight, they can find them
Stay high.
because they have covered themselves like normal cells. And that's why when you look at targeted therapy or immunotherapy or chemotherapy, we have to remove the cover, we find them, remove the cover, and kill them. But it's very destructive. And that's why when you
This
take
is the
immuno...
weak cells.
Sorry?
Strong cells, right?
Sometimes you have to kill. But the point is that, see, this is the big issue. So when you have cancer and we're trying to kill the cancer cells, because the cancer cells have pulled the nutrition from the good cells, you're already weakened. So your recovery is very challenging. And so you increase your chances of recovering if you were very healthy in the first case. That's why staying healthy at all times is very important. Because all of us have cancer cells every day. The reason we don't develop cancer is because our immune system is getting rid of them. Do you understand? And cancer cells are crazy cells that want to go crazy because they didn't want to die, okay? Or they don't want to go through that death process. It's very important. So I took the extreme. Why your immune system has to be ready all the time. Because this other stuff is going on here. But in between, we have a lot of issues that are developing that the immune system has to do around protection and around defense, right? Say, for example, you cut yourself with a knife or some kind of, a paper cut, and infection goes in. The immune system shows up immediately. You see, as it's bleeding, you can see it starts inflaming. The inflammation is a signal to the body that we have a problem here to go defend and protect and repair and regenerate. All of that is the architecture that's driven by the immune system. So your immune system is a really important issue for you to deal with. So number one, let's start. How does one get a strong immune system? So if you were born cesarean, you are starting from a lower point, right? Or if you have children who are born cesarean, they're starting from a lower point of building their immune system. So the big solution on building your immune system, first of all, number one, is that you need to have all the right nutrients in your body. That's number one. Why do we need nutrients? I didn't say calories. Why do we need nutrients?
Because we don't get enough
function.
food.
No, that's not why. I'm on the positive side. Why do we need them?
To function properly?
Yeah, what does that mean?
To grow
To make it through the day, to be able to have energy to do certain
No, energy doesn't come from nutrients. So why do we need nutrients?
To feed the cell.
Yeah, for what? What are we feeding? No, the cells don't require, they need nutrients, but not for feeding. Feeding the cells is calories. What?
breathe.
No, it is for repair and regeneration. It's for tissue, right? To get our tissue functioning properly for repair and regeneration. And also to support with cleansing and detox and all those things that need to be done to clean the body. So like when you're sleeping, the nutrients help the immune system clean, detoxify, and then create the excretion. That's why that poo in the morning is so pleasurable.
The what?
The poo in the morning.
Oh,
Number 2.
We all do it, right? Who here doesn't poo in the morning?
Oh, I do it every morning.
What time?
I enjoy
The
it too.
timing.
I do too. That's how I know. We all enjoy it, even though we're all shy like we don't poo. Yeah, we all poo. It's human to poo twice a day at least, or once a day. And it has to be a soft poo. So when you go into a bathroom, you're going to see the poo architecture from number 1 to number 7. You need to have a number 4 poo every day. So your stomach tells you whether you have a good poo or not. So what happens if you don't have a good poo?
you
Desiree.
constipated.
No, that's not the only side. That's when your poo is really hard, you're constipated. When your poo is really hard, you're constipated. What does that mean, Desiree?
That you're mad?
Being a police officer, we don't want her constipated.
Don't give it I mean, your gut compromised.
Yeah, so typically it's a dehydration issue. It's a big issue about hydration that your body is not getting enough nutrients and it's not properly hydrated. And you know that more women suffer from constipation than diarrhea. Diarrhea is the other end. More men suffer from diarrhea. More women suffer from constipation. One of the reasons women suffer from constipation is that women don't like to poo outside. I mean,
They like to be in their house to do it, right.
why is that, Desiree?
Because they don't,
I
I
don't
think
like
they think
it.
germs, yeah, they like, I'm
No,
not
just,
sitting on
we
that.
don't want people to know that I'm doing number 2 in the bathroom,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know? I mean, that's just like, you know.
How come men don't care?
Yeah, no, and
So
they
they
sit next to
just
my
go.
stall, it just no.
It's a good thing we have our own bathrooms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, now they're trying to create some mixed bathrooms. It's like bullshit. Yeah. We want our bathrooms where we poo and relax and read the newspaper and do all those things. Women go into the bathroom like, I really don't poo, I don't pee, right? And so, but the fact that you're holding poo is really bad for you, all right? So it really compacts and creates constipation. So it's important that you have a routine where you make sure you poo in the morning before you get out. And if you can't, just sit there until you can poo, right? So we're talking about eating properly and seeing the signals from your digestive system that you're doing okay. So if you're not checking that every day, and you need to check that, and those are signs and signals that God gave us to look at the poo and say something is wrong. And when something is wrong immediately, you need to fix it. When it's in the other end where it's diarrhea, what is that indicating? So let me again just talk about constipation. One of the reasons there's constipation is because you don't have enough fiber, right? There's dehydration, there's lack of fiber. And so people who take fruit and make smoothies tend to not have enough fiber. So just eat the fruit the way the fruit was made. Making a smoothie takes the fiber out of the fruit. Okay? So eat the fruit the way the fruit was made. Then you get a lot of fiber, or the vegetables or whatever. Right? You can't make everything into a smoothie. Then we'll all become babies like in Wall-E, and we just have feeding bottles we drink all day. On the other side, for diarrhea, the big challenge when diarrhea shows up is a lack of symbiosis, right?
The good bacteria and the bad bacteria.
Yes. So why do we need the bad bacteria? Well, it's bad because when there's too much of it, you have diarrhea. But we need it.
Yeah.
So why do we need it?
It's how
To cleanse?
and excrete. Excretion.
So it helps break down the fiber.
The bad one.
Yes, and then the good one now has the opportunity to really work on the digestive system, right? So the two of them in the stomach are in this interplay. The good bacteria should be about 60%, the bad bacteria about 40%. Once that balance changes, then you have diarrhea. And when you're,
The diarrhea is lack of what? You said it was lack of.
it's lack of good bacteria. So I'm going to explain what happened. So the bad bacteria, in the process of breaking the fiber and doing that, kills the good bacteria. So there's always a tendency in your body to move towards the bad bacteria winning. That's why every day you must take more new bacteria as you grow older. That's what we call the digestive enzymes. The digestive enzymes. The moment you pass 40, 50, the issues of fiber and enzymes becomes a big problem.
It's not the probiotic?
That's the probiotic, yeah. Sorry, the enzymes,
one
sorry,
that-
and the probiotic. Sorry, thank you. Yeah, so that's the probiotic. I was already talking about
That's the one you
enzymes.
refrigerate,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
depends. It
Somebody
depends. So these two things, that's the probiotics, the good bacteria. Thank you, Kim, for it. And you will need to get a one that has a combination of the different kinds. We recommend this because this one is 225 billion. If you notice when you go even for those people who buy supplements from Costco, they sell at the maximum 5 billion. We're giving you 225 billion. It's very important that you have this high amount.
So is the higher number or the lower number is considered the highest one? Because you said they
No,
give you 500.
no, the one they give you because they're selling cheap one to you. Yeah, so we are giving you high potency probiotics.
That's 225
This is 225 billion. So you can, and when you're buying probiotics, that's the number you want to check. And then you also want to check whether it's the one that is delayed release. Because don't forget that we want this to go deep inside your small intestines for it to be active. Okay? But there's also the issue of enzymes. As we grow older, especially women, as you get past menopause, your digestive enzymes also go on a low ride, right? And there are 3 kinds of digestive enzymes. What are they? You should know them. You all did high school science.
Over 40 years ago.
And is the stomach acidic or alkalinic?
Acidic.
Why is it acidic?
To kill the bacteria?
To digest the
No, to kill the bacteria.
No, to create an environment where we can actually break down and kill the toxins, right? Because all the ones that are coming down, how much bacteria is in our mouth? Over 400 different types. Types. Yes, over 400 different bacteria in the mouth. So that's saliva, because that is where the mastication process begins of breaking down the food. When that, because the mouth is very alkalinic, right? That's why we can kiss and our tongue doesn't get burnt, because if it was acidic, then we cannot kiss. So God was really very, very... Well, it depends who you're kissing. If not, it will be really acidic. So imagine if we had acidic saliva, then we'll kiss. My mouth is burning from that kiss, right? So saliva is alkalinic because that environment is very calming to accept all the food, to begin to break it down. But the minute it starts sliding into the stomach, it moves into an acid chamber, right? So it kills the bacteria that is not required because there's enough bacteria down there, right? So it's very, very important that if your hygiene of your mouth is also not good, it means that then most of the bacteria that dominates your mouth is the bad bacteria. And the bad bacteria will not be killed by the acidity. And so it overwhelms the stomach. That's why people with periodontal disease tend to also have low immune systems, because their gut is always under attack. That's why dentists are such an important part of our lives. That you clean, you floss, you brush. Your dental hygiene is actually your most important defense against immune illnesses, right? Because of that bacterial architecture that flows from the mouth, because we swallow about 5,000 times a day. So every time you swallow, you're swallowing that bacteria from your stomach, from your mouth into your stomach. And so if you have bad dental problems, that's what you're creating in the stomach. So every time you swallow, you hear your stomach rumble. Oh, those bad boys have arrived again from your mouth, right? So dental hygiene is very important. And what is the biggest sign that you have dental problems?
Gum disease?
No, it's dry mouth.
Oh, dry mouth.
When your mouth is always dry, it's a sign that your gums are not healthy. Because when your gums are healthy, your mouth should always have saliva. Right. So people who talk and spit, it's a good sign that they have a lot of spit. Right. I know that people think that's a bad habit, but it means they have good saliva, right? So if your mouth is always dry, it's a hydration issue, but it's also something is going on. So you need to check your dental hygiene. Okay? So we're walking slowly through this. So the enzymes, there are 3 of them to attack the 3 food types. So at the top of our stomach, we start breaking down the most complex food type. What's the most complex food type? Proteins. And what's the enzyme that breaks them down? Pepsin. So it's a set of enzymes that can break down. So protein breakdown is really, really. And what is protein used for? Why do we need protein? Building blocks of what? Correct. So it's a bit the building block of everything. Everything on our body is driven by proteins, right? Even collagen is a protein, right? Collagen that women love for their hair, nails, and skin type, right? It's a protein. So the breakdown of amino acids from proteins is really fundamental for repair and regeneration, right?
Is it Pepsin breaks that down?
Yeah, pepsins. So it's a set of, there's some pepsins, proteases, there are lots of enzymes for different kinds of proteins, right? Like to break down eggs or break down collagen. So there are different kinds to create what we call the short chain or long chain amino acids. Okay? Then we have the breakdown of fats, the lipids. So we can have short chain or branch chain or long chain triglycerides or amino acids. What are fats used for? No, it's a backup to fuel. It's the backup fuel. But what is fat used for? It's for storage and for the brain, right? Because our stem cells are stored in fat.
And to give the body kind of fluid, right?
Well, yeah, to give the body some kind of flexibility and yes, exactly.
So
So
you
the
said lipids are like a backup, right? Lipids are like
to energy.
To energy.
It's a backup energy. It's like your backup fuel tank. So when the body runs out of carbohydrates, then it will use fat. That's why fasting is so important, right? Because then it goes to the fat engine, which is a more efficient energy engine, right? And then we have the breakdown of carbohydrates, right? Which is really our core energy source. So all these things have to be broken down by these enzymes in a balanced environment with all these good and bad bacteria. So that is why you hear your stomach rumble. You will see, because if you look at the length of your intestine, the food it's broken down in the stomach and in the duodenum. Then it starts this long journey through your small colon and your small intestine until it says, we want to poo, right? Why is that journey such a long journey?
This allows the nutrient from that to absorb.
Correct. So it gives the body enough time to extract the maximum amount of nutrients from the food that was eaten. So it's a slow process. And that's why we need fiber, because the fiber also slows down that process of really making sure that the enzymes break down the food and that the food has enough time to really absorb, so that when you then go to poo, if you are pooing too much, must mean you ate too much or you didn't extract enough out of the food, right? So it's very important, guys. And the smell of your poo also is an indication. If your poo is always very smelly, it means that something is not right with that bacteria balance, which tends to be with dysentery, right? So it's very important. So we're talking about the digestive tract and the things that support that, because they are really critical in ensuring that this innate and adaptive immune system is on the protection side and not on the defense side. Remember, after we fought 2 wars for 10 years, the military is tired. I'm trying to make it in practical terms, right? So it's better we're not fighting a war. It's better we're just getting ready. You see the point? You deploy less resources. But when people have gone 2 tours, 3 tours to Iraq and Afghanistan, they come back, all our good resources are tired. Then we're very vulnerable, isn't it? In practical terms, we're very vulnerable. And so it's like my door here. We put an alarm. So we used to have a door handle on the one on the side there. And last year we had about 10 or 15 police calls because of attempted break-ins. But people just shaking the door and it would alarm. So I removed the handle. And it stopped because there was nothing to shake. And you know, I didn't know that the police charge me for every time they come. I thought it was kind of like, I'm a good citizen, it must be free. But Desiree's friend said, no, here's the bill. Right.
It must have been Anaheim.
Yeah, Anaheim, yeah. And then the same thing started happening with this door in here. So inside, people started shaking that, and it also triggered the alarm. So I removed the handle from that door also, because it's really annoying when the alarm goes off. The cops come and they say we found nothing, because people shake it and they see it locked, they go away, but it's triggered the alarm already. So why am I talking about that? It's the same thing with your body. We don't need false alarms. It's really because what happens, the immune system gets tired of false alarms. It keeps responding and there's nothing. It keeps so next time there's an alarm, you might, well, I don't think it's a real alarm. So you want to make sure that your GI is kept optimal. It's really one of the most important things. It leads to a lot of other things like neuroinflammation, because once you have GI problems, you're going to end up with mental problems also. So when we look at Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's and all of that, it really comes from what we call neuroinflammation. Neuroinflammation is the violation of your gut lining that ends up in the blood-brain barrier and then makes you go crazy. Whether it's MS, whether it's Parkinson's, whether it's that, they are neuroinflammation illnesses, and the source is a compromised gut. So the only way to really fix that long term is to fix the gut, and then slowly all the bacteria that has been escaping into those areas will be extracted through detox and other processes out of the body. It's very important, guys, because that's why we're having a lot of Alzheimer's and all of that, because people are not taking care of their gut, right? So they have leaky gut that's really causing a lot of issues, okay? So all of this is about protect. So what do I take every day? I take my transfer factor multi-immune. This is a complete immune support. I take this every day. And this one actually activates what we call the Th1 and the Th17 NK cells, natural killer cells. So apart from fixing my gut, I'm also, right? Because even when there's no war, we have an army that's training every day. You have to be training the immune system every day. It doesn't mean, oh, we just go to sleep. Oh my God, we got attacked. Right? You have to be raiding the army, clean the gut, so that the immune system is on alert for protection. You understand? So now we're talking about protection. Now let's talk about defense. What was defense again, Jad? What's defense?
Put the resources to
Fight.
fight or push away.
All right.
all
So
this-
now, whenever I have sore throat, when I get the beginnings, what is the beginning? How does flu begin, madam? For you, scratchy throat, like what, the night before or in the morning?
In the morning.
All right, so once you have that scratchy throat, what do you do?
I rinse my mouth with warm water and salt.
That's good, but it's not gonna, that's not gonna stop it.
I take germinated wheat germ.
That's called defense.
That's an advanced answer.
No, that's
I didn't plant her. Vitamin C is good, but that's too late. That's too late, because that's part of your protection. That is all the things we're going to talk about. So what do you do? Defense. You have to go for powerful, natural defensive products. All right. These products are one of our most expensive products. This one is $200.
The price is the same, or the same price.
Yes, same price for each of them, but this one is a powder and the other one is a capsule.
Yeah, I got the
That's wheat germ. It's the most advanced natural immune system. So every time I have a tickle, I take it immediately. Well, you can check the products later on. Yeah, very powerful
It's
product.
fermented.
It's fermented wheat germ, and it goes to energize. I didn't print the things. It goes to energize. They say studies have shown that it provides valuable health benefits, supporting mechanisms of regulation, regulates, associate, and cell metabolism, including immune function. But at the core of this is its ability to actually go activate your T17 cells, the phagocytes. And those are the guys who are then assembled and said, we have an infiltration. So the Navy SEALs are deployed. These are Navy SEALs, right?
Specialized forces.
Yes, because we have a new kind of virus that we need to go, the special forces go examine.
Annihilate.
Sometimes they might kill the leader, but they also bring back news of how much defense we're going to need to deploy, right? But if your gut is compromised and your immune system, they come back and they say, oh, but we deployed all our forces to Iraq and Afghanistan, we have no forces. Then your body begins to shake, right? And then you get the flu that lasts for like a week. And during that time, if you're not doing the right things, what does happen? What is the progression of flu to death? What's after the flu, what happens next? You get pneumonia. And where does the pneumonia come from?
Leaky gut.
It comes from the bacteria that has invaded your bloodstream. Because pneumonia is not a viral infection, it's a bacterial infection. Now it is the pneumonia that kills, not the virus. Do you get that? That's where the pneumonia comes from. And that,
Coronavirus right now.
that's how it kills. It develops into pneumonia.
Oh, it does.
Yes. Yeah, typically that's how viruses do.
Most people die of pneumonia.
Yeah, they die of pneumonia, yeah. So the virus comes, weakens the system, then the bacteria steps up.
like open the big gate.
Yeah, because the bacteria has always been there. It just was controlled by the immune system. But now the virus has come and weakened the immune system, and the bacteria say, we got the freedom. In this democracy, we can now be free, right? So they now attack, and the easiest place for them to attack is one of the most vulnerable places, which is our lungs. Because that's where we are pulling air in all the time with all the bacteria, right? Because the lot of air that we are pulling in, that's why we have clean air filters. All the air you breathe in, if it is not of good quality, it compromises the lungs, and all that bacteria is in your lungs. And how does that bacteria come out? You have a lot of people who have a lot of phlegm, right? So when people have a lot of phlegm, we have something, because then they have a lot of, where's the histoqual? We have histoqual, which is really the response that you need. If for people who have a lot of phlegm, typically it's an overreactive immune system. Your immune system is overreacting, but it could be genetic, so you need histoqual to just calm it down and say it's okay. Because then for normal people who don't have the histamine overreaction, it might be in my room if it's not there.
Oh, it's NAC. I thought it was NAC.
Yeah, we can.
We have NAC. And
We have NAC also. You can bring NAC also. Sorry?
Could it be allergies?
Yeah, it could also be allergies, but the point is that we should not be allergic.
Like for sinus infection,
Yeah, but it depends what you. So we create this combination of things we call allergies that is not very clear. The only things you could be allergic to is to dust and mite from outside. If you're allergic to food, it means you have a compromised gut. Like if you can't eat peanuts or shellfish or strawberries or whatever, it means you have a compromised gut. Yeah, because I can eat anything.
Yeah.
So why can't other people? Do you see the point? It also goes back to that immune architecture, right? If you have an adaptive and innate powerful immune system, you're not allergic to anything. Even the mite and dust, your body will just sneeze and that's it. It pushes it out. That's it. Is that making sense?
So what is heartburn exactly? So I know some people that eat food and they get heartburn.
It's acidity. I just spoke about the acidity in the stomach.
Okay, so that's heartburn.
So typically, if you're eating food and you're not drinking enough water, and what is typically the solution for heartburn is to drink milk. Is to create alkalinity. Yes.
Or
Once you
spicy
drink
food.
milk,
Yeah, spicy food. Correct.
spicy food will, yeah, you
Make
drink
water,
milk, it will calm it.
calm it down.
Yeah, actually, most of the medications for people who have ulcers, stomach ulcers, or heartburn is really milk derivatives.
It's smooth it out.
Yeah, it calms it. No, it creates an alkaline environment. It normalizes the acidity. But typically, if you also have heartburn, it means that there is potentially an ulcer
Also, yeah,
in the gut lining that's causing the burn.
too much
Cure
acidity.
that.
Yeah, hold on.
How do you cure that?
You cure by curing your gut.
How about those GERD?
That's why all those illnesses of the gut is just people not doing the things I'm talking about. They're eating bad food and they're not taking the things to help with the digestion. It takes 9 months to a year to clean and repair the gut.
So, yeah, no,
That's what we call this the ultra GI replenish. It's support for the management of compromised gut function with digestive disorders, including malabsorption. Big words.
it's also immune
Malabsorption. What's malabsorption?
You're not absorbing.
Not properly.
Yes. So if your gut is compromised, you don't absorb the nutrients very well. That's what I was saying. So everything you eat
Go out.
is going out because the gut is already compromised, right? And so most of what we teach here, the number one thing
It's the gut.
is the gut. To fix your gut. If there's nothing else you're going to do, fix your gut. And the number one thing for most people is to take your probiotics, to take your prebiotics, the fiber. Do we have any fiber? And to take your enzymes,
Design for health.
right? Those three things
Not there.
are really critical you take every day and every time you eat. It's very, very important.
It's not in the bundle.
Okay. So, and especially, it doesn't matter whether you're vegetarian or you're carnivorous, right? Or mixed. I am mixed. I love meat. I love proteins. Proteins are very good for you because if you're a vegetarian, you also need to be really careful to make sure you get good protein, right? Because protein is critical for the architecture,
And most,
right?
most vegetarians I know, they're always sick.
Because of
They don't have
that.
protein. Lack of protein.
Because of that. And also, I'll come to you, Beate. And also, they're not getting some critical proteins that typically only come from animals.
Yes. Yes.
Because not all the proteins that are in plants are available in animals. So they need to get certain, I mean, we have grass-fed protein things here that would suit vegetarians, but it's important they have that comprehensive protein set. Yeah, Beate.
So if I eat meat, I get heartburn.
It's not from the meat. It's from an unbalanced acid architecture. So, do you take enzymes,
Yes,
digestive enzymes?
yes,
Do you take probiotics?
yes,
Do you take fiber?
no.
Okay. Because the meat, that's the challenge also with meat. It's the most complex thing to break down.
Fiber?
Meat.
Meat. And so the problem also is whether you're eating meat that is raw or cooked or half cooked. I always recommend you eat meat that's well cooked. Raw beef is very dangerous, especially in America. And so even for the body to digest raw meat is very hard. You understand? So the cooking itself really starts breaking down a very complex thing called complex protein. The cooking breaks down the protein in the meat, helping with digestion. So the kind of meat that you eat is really also very important. But if that's the point, then you want to eat really, because I used to be that way with thicker pieces of meat. But when you start eating the tiny pieces from Korean barbecue, you have a different reaction. Try that. Tiny pieces so the body can really deal with it more. You know the way Americans have a big lump of meat and you, yeah.
You gotta cut it.
Yeah, so if you really go, you know, the Koreans make these really thin slices. And I find out that when I eat that, I'm much more, sometimes I'm kind of stuffed by big pieces of meat. Yeah. But that's a very important question about heartburn. If you find out that you eat something, you have heartburn, then you need to prepare. And so before you eat, about 30 minutes before, take the digestive enzyme and prepare your stomach, right? And also drink water, because
I'm sorry, before or
no,
after?
you should take it before.
Oh, wow, I'm wrong then. Okay, yeah.
It is about it's about, are you defending or preventing?
Preventing. So take it before, always take it before, not after.
Take it after too.
Before, no, before. You take it before.
You see, because by that time, it is already
It's
late.
inside your stomach.
You want to take it so that it prepares the environment, so when the meat arrives, we're ready.
And when do I take probiotics?
Sorry?
When do I take them?
I take them too before I eat. I take them in the morning and in the evening.
Yeah, so in other words, you don't have to do it at a meal, you can take the.
No, the only thing, yeah, typically, I might take it before I start eating the enzymes. I might take it, especially if it's the spectrozyme, if I'm going to eat gluten. I take that 30 minutes before also. Or you take this just before you start eating. Like if I'm waiting for the food to come, we take that. And then you get the stomach ready for that, so that the environment is ready. Do you understand? So it's really important that if you're having burn, that you prepare the stomach environment for the food that's coming in. I know, right? It kind of makes sense. And then people were saying, oh, don't drink water when you eat. That's bullshit. Because for people who have really acidic stomachs, drinking water before you eat, when you eat, and after you eat is very good, because it actually reduces the amount of food you eat, which is a good thing for you. You lose weight, correct. So drinking water is a good thing because it also reduces, you don't think so?
Believe it on myself, I'm saying.
Yeah.
I reduced the acid reflex
Yeah.
because I stopped drinking water while I'm eating.
Oh, okay. Only afterwards.
I eat before I drink water before half an hour or
Ah,
after 1 hour.
okay, yeah. You see, so you find what works for you.
Yeah.
But water in the stomach is a very important aspect. So I'm going to stop briefly because we have a lady who's going to talk to us about this very important product, Primacin, and the collection of it. You ready?
Yes.
Come on. So introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Annie.
I'm going to stand
from
next to
Uganda.
you so that you can project, okay? I know you have a female voice.
Sure.
There are people watching online, okay?
Today I'm here for Primacin products that I would like to introduce to you guys. I've been knowing this product for a year, and now I really love this product. I use every day. So now, should I just introduce you the product?
Yes, go ahead.
This is the one I want to introduce you. I put solutions inside here. This is what you do. It's pretty, huh? But actually, it's working really good for us. It kills virus, bacteria, and in 30 seconds, it kills germs, bacteria.
So like if I cough,
Yeah.
she would do that.
So,
To protect herself.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
protect not me.
No, just
She doesn't care about me.
Okay, sorry. I just want to get it
this is good. This is
Yeah, you
safe.
can. So if you are with your wife and she coughs, you protect her and protect yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's safe
Don't
to
just
use
protect yourself and say you're on your
into
own.
your eyes and into your nose, your mouth. This is safe because this is FDA approved, which is 510K medical device approved. It's not just regular FDA approval.
Is that water in there?
It's a solution. It's not water.
Oh yes, it's
It's a
no.
device, but there is a
Like a
solution.
facial.
Looks like this.
Yeah.
Or like this. This is a bigger size. So this is 8-ounce bottle. So we put this solution into here.
Mm.
And when you're ready to put the solution in here, you open the device like this. And you pour the solution in here.
Is there
And-
something to pour it in, like?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There is one.
A funnel.
Like a funnel, right?
A small one. Yeah. That.
Oh, the drop.
A pipette. On appelle ça les pipettes. You use that in chemistry class, right? Pipette.
Yes.
It's a
So,
pipette, yeah.
Yeah, and then you charge this device with a cord. You have your cell phone, right?
Yeah, it's an
Yes, if
iPhone
you charge
charger.
it, yeah.
Mm.
So you charge it. If it's fully charged, it has a color like this.
It's good to take on the plane then.
It is, yeah, because
Very good.
there's a lot of virus right around this time. There's
Yeah.
coronavirus, SARS, Ebola virus, HIV virus. There are so many viruses and bacteria around ourselves. And in these days, this is really good to protect yourself, prevent all the virus, bacteria infection. So what I do, I use this every day for my face, for my hair, for my toe, everywhere you can use it because this
Even
is
for
safe to
skin.
use. And especially this is good for acne face, and the fungi on your
Actually,
toes,
look at the sheet.
toenails,
Yes.
yeah.
Psoriasis too.
Yeah.
Psoriasis, yeah. There are so many good places to use this one to protect yourself and then to cure the germs and bacteria.
Mm.
So, just wanted to share with you that 3 days ago, last Tuesday, in Pasadena, there was one of our big customer there, and she was presenting this product to the people in that area, Pasadena. There's a lot of Chinese people, and they would love to buy this product. And then there were hundreds of people lining in to buy this product only because they said, "Oh, I'm going to fly to China. I'm going to fly to Vietnam. I'm going to fly to wherever." Yes.
Yeah,
So,
no.
as an example, you are sitting in the airplane, do you have to put that on the
Yeah,
whole
you
entire
should.
time?
Yeah.
Not all the
No,
time.
no.
Just when somebody,
I mean, not all the time, but
Only when in
this,
once in a
contact.
while.
yeah, in the airplane, there's a air just
Filter.
trapped in the
They are
Yeah.
circulated,
Yeah.
yes, you'll have pressure.
The virus is circulating in your area, so you want to protect yourself from the virus flying.
And look at the
So
time to
you do
kill.
this.
It kills those in barely 30
10
seconds.
minutes and then
No,
stop, or-
it
So
kills
most-
germs virus in
Hour.
30 seconds.
Yeah, no, so most people do is like, I sit in the plane and people are coughing, and every hour, you
Yeah.
just do
And
it.
I do this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not every
because
hour.
it kills
Yeah.
germs, yeah. And what I normally, yes.
What's in the solution?
The solution, it has
Ionized.
how do I explain this? It's hypochlorized water, ionized water is 99%, 99.7%.
Mhm.
And the other 0.2 and 3% are
Special fluid. They are patents. Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of the salted white ionized salted water. Right?
Yes.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Can you help me to explain this? I cannot
So,
really
so
Vietnamese.
what they've done is that they've created what we call a hydrolyzed iron, water. Water has been hydrolyzed so that it can bind to that, and that's what happens when the bacteria comes and it captures the bacteria, and then it removes their power and drops them away.
Is it kind of like Hawaiian silver?
Yes, it is like colloidal silver, but this is sprayed around your, because colloidal, I actually take it. I have colloidal silver
That's the
here.
drink, right there.
Here, that's the one.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I use silver saline.
Silver saline.
Yes.
So this is a more like 100%
Purified silver.
oxidation water. It's that's why it's good for our eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's it's 100% oxidation.
Yeah.
So
So this one is for external, for face, for mouth, for breathing. The colloidal silver is something that you take. We can talk about the colloidal silver.
if
But-
you smoke
Yes.
cigarette and you want to get rid of the smells,
Yeah,
in
you-
front- I mean right before the meeting time, you just do this.
Before the rendezvous.
Yeah, it kills. I mean that
The odor.
smells means the odor
Bacteria.
means bacteria. So we can kill the bacteria for for a
Yeah.
while. So then, if you don't have time for brushing teeth and you're in a rushing time, then this is good time to use this one. So I carry this devices all the time with me. I'm sorry.
The size of it to fit in your bag.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
it
good
fit-
size. Oh, there's another size which is the smaller size. This is a smaller device. So I use this one for my eyes. Because there's another product that it comes with this device, which is for only for eyes. The formulation is for this skin solutions are the same, but the only for the eye solution is more oxidation. So nothing but more oxidation.
Like when you're traveling and your eyes are red, you
Oh,
use that
okay.
for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
like when
Then
you
it
wake up
really
in the morning-
awakens your eyes.
When I wake up in the morning, my eyes red, then use that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It clear the eyes.
Yes.
Yeah. There's no, I mean,
Chemical.
no chemical, nothing. That's why FDA approved this one.
Mhm.
So you can use anytime you want, 100 times or 10 times, doesn't matter, because it's not gonna harm you. And it's good for children to use it. Actually, from the beginning, this device made for children because there is a hole like this, so you can put a string in it, make a necklace for them, and you open this one, and it works for, I think, for 30 seconds, and then it's gonna shut off it automatically for this device. Because children, they play around this, and they don't wanna close this, right? So it comes out all the time. So the machine automatically will shut off. And then, doesn't matter they close this or not, but it'll shut off automatically.
Yeah.
So this is good for eyes and then for children to use.
So you travel with both, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So I normally put the solution, eyelid cleanser solution in here for my eyes because it has more oxidation. This one for my hair, skin, everywhere. So I carry this both in one pouch.
Interesting though, just, and this is, the water is not too much, so you can go through security also, by the way.
Yeah,
Otherwise they
this
would
one
not
is
let you
only
drag,
1
yeah.
ounce. So
Yeah.
you
Less than
can,
4 ounces,
yeah.
yeah. the
You
way
can
designed, yeah.
pass,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So because I traveled this too,
Yeah.
to Costa Rica and other country, but then I was okay, pass. But if you want to carry more than that one, you can put in the
In the
luggage.
luggage,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes. So this is a really good protection for ourselves around this time because I don't want to get caught the virus around me. So once you catch cold, then you're gonna spread to your family and everyone. So it's really important for us to protect ourselves. And then you don't have, so the really important thing to use this kind of solution for us is once you catch cold, you have to go to see the doctor or hospital. You're gonna spend a lot of time and money, right? So then I don't want to go through all that stuff. So before I go there, I want to protect myself first. So then I don't have to catch the cold.
Do
Exactly.
you have any studies that show?
Yes.
Yes,
There's a
there's
lot of
That
research.
I can read
Yeah, we
about?
have the report and we have FDA approval.
You can check on the website also.
Everything, yeah.
Yes. What?
Because-
Yeah.
You should play we can't play the video.
Yeah. We have a.
We
internet.
have
Yeah,
a
I-
video, but
No inter.
I can send you the video at a high level, but you can check the research papers. It's an approved product, so it addresses. But let's
Wondering how good it helps with psoriasis.
yeah, let's understand what the issue is, what it does. It lubricates the environment and reduces the microbial load that allows the immune system to do its healing. What did I say about viruses? It leads to pneumonia. because the viruses lowers the immune system response and the microbial load increases, leading to pneumonia. So when the microbial load is reduced, viruses, we don't have a cure for viruses. They just go out on their own. Are we clear about that? There is no cure for viruses.
So this is more.
There's only a cure for the underlying secondary effects of the microbe attack. Are we clear about that? Okay. So this reduces the load and then the body can deal with the viral attack. Are we clear? Okay. So that's the mechanism. So you can check the research and that's what sustains. But don't forget that eczema, psoriasis, and all those skin illnesses have a gut issue. You need to solve the gut problem, and then the psoriasis disappears with the eczema. That's it. Okay.
And this is the eyelid cleanser. It's good for your glaucoma.
Yes. And the retina. Yes. And
Yes.
yep. Exactly.
It's actually protects you and it keeps you not to be
The-
worse.
Yeah. To get bad. To get worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
It says eyelashes and hair scalp. What is it? What do they mean by that? Like, what do they do? Will you have to have something wrong for it to protect something? Or?
No, I mean
People
actually
just do it as prevention. That's what she was saying. Because the point is that we live in a viral bacterial world. So it's protection. So when on the
People
plane,
with hair scalp, I think mean like if you have issue with dry scalp.
Yes.
Or something like that. I
Yes.
think that's what it meant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also people do eyelashes.
If you do
Yes.
fake eyelashes or extension, you have to glue it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
have to clean it.
That's the
yes,
one.
you have to
There's
clean
a lot
it.
of bacteria.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a lot of bacteria.
Oh, yeah,
If
you have
wear-
forgotten
if
about
you
that.
get eyelash extensions, then you
Eyelashes,
really need that thing to
Yeah.
clean it. Because there's so many people get infected
And
by
so
the
are men.
eyelash extension.
Right.
Yes.
I didn't know that those were eyelashes. I thought they were wiper blades.
They are so big.
Yes, and those are really
Aeroplane
good.
wings.
Yeah. Yes, that and then also.
Desiree, they're wiper blades.
When you go to the tattoo shop,
Uh-huh.
when they do eyebrow
Eyeliner, you mean, they use that,
Yeah,
okay.
with them, they use
As
this
an
one.
infection,
Yes.
disinfection.
To reduce the
yeah.
microbial load.
Yeah.
The swelling or
And
something.
when they use this one, to reduce the have of bleeding.
And also it fastens the healing.
Yeah. I mean, anything, if you wear makeup, you wear mascara, and you use the clean, because that cleaner sometimes is not good, then you might get infection, so that's.
Yes.
So that's why every time you
Because
feel like
I
you
makeup
want to use
remover
it.
has,
Yes.
if it's not natural, there's issue with it.
Because
You
most
really have a
people
good
have
understanding.
bacteria in their lipstick also. Right?
Yes. So much
So you
stuff.
can use this, like this.
A lot of people have bacteria in their lipstick.
One last thing.
You should not give your friends to use your lipstick.
No.
Oh, you're not talking
Or
about
underwear.
No.
Or underwear, they say.
So when I go to
You don't share
restaurants,
lipstick, no.
Or underwear.
there's a spoon and fork, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you order the salad, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of bacteria on those utensils, and then I do this.
Oh, really? Wow, that's a good idea. No, on the
Because-
spoon and
Yeah.
Oh, you
You just want
Oh, I
to
think-
protect
no, even
yourself.
on the food. You do that on the food.
Yeah, on the salad. There's a
Oh,
lot of
really?
bacteria is in
Because
the
it's not
salad.
cooked.
The staphylococcus,
Yeah,
yes.
those kind of bacteria on our salad.
And you know
want
where
to-
the staphylococcus on the salad comes from? From the composting, from the poo that they used to plant
Oh, yeah.
to grow the staphylococci.
Kind of bacteria. We don't want to eat that bacteria, but we want to eat. We want to enjoy the salad. Right?
Exactly.
I just spray on a salad and then wait for a second. 30 seconds.
And if your husband likes to kiss you, you can ask him to use it before he kisses you.
Kills the bacteria, right?
Yeah, this is how I use it. That's why I
Yes.
carry this one everywhere I go.
Just slide it down. No, slide that down. Down.
Oh, it's cool. Try it.
Yeah.
It's cold air.
So
For the
when
moisture water. So it's moisturized.
Yes, it's hydrolyzed
So
water.
if you're on the plane, you
Ionized.
want to moisturize your face. because
No, you
it's
can't
not-
put that. No, you have to put the
And
ionized
it smells really
water.
good too, by the way.
it's not really good for your
It's nice.
You can
when
kiss
people
now.
go to his ears erase all the parts.
So we can take that.
So I can hear.
breathe in those chemicals, and then you touch those processors touching your skin, and you are irritated, and then you have allergies. You use that
smells really
Primusin
good.
spray.
Angela,
Yeah.
it smells really good. It smells good.
I can't smell it.
So one of the things that I do it also is that now when I go into the bathroom on the plane, I use that because
You try not to.
for 15 hours.
No, well, no, but you know, no, but people like
She's a steward.
they'll be
I know.
staying in the airport for like 3 hours, and then they come on the plane. Oh, can I use the restroom? Like, really? Like, it's a little tiny thing, and then people go in there barefooted. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God, I know I see
and I
people wear
go,
barefoot.
Oh.
you know,
I know I see people
you
wear
know that's
barefoot.
not water, and then
There's
like
people-
they don't. Yeah.
No, actually, I see people doesn't have shoes and walk.
Yeah, and I go, you know that's not water, right? And they don't
Yeah.
look, and they just, oh well.
Oh, well,
I'm like, you know.
Okay, thank you, Desiree, for the. So when you do that, when you see
And if
people
you
like
brush
that,
your teeth,
you
don't-
bring out your machine and you spray their feet.
That's how you do it.
Not that, but the other one.
Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Wasn't that fun? So are we clear? So read the handout. You can go on their website. They have lots of videos too on YouTube. We're going to be carrying all their products. I'm flying this afternoon, so I'm taking one with me.
How much are those? Though? I'm just curious.
We'll talk about pricing later.
That means a lot.
No, what is a lot?
I don't know.
How much is the cost of your health? So being healthy, how much is that? Desiree.
Excellent,
Priceless.
priceless. Yeah. You see the commotion of the credit card, right?
Exactly. Being healthy. You know, and you know the interesting thing, Desiree, is that if it was a Louis Vuitton bag, right? But when it is like my supplement, well, right? So let's have the same kind of response on the things that are really valuable for us. So what I'm going to talk now, just really, I'll use like 10, 15 minutes because I normally do this in the beginning. For people who are new, I want to give them a quick walk through our overall methodology. Okay, so open the middle pages. Let's walk through this. You can read the sites later on.
The middle pages or something?
Yeah, open the, yes. So let's talk about our approach to chronic illness. All right, so just look at the middle page from the green side. Let's walk through, okay? Let's walk through that very quickly. So our approach to the management of chronic illness is a four-step model of disease and disease intervention. So there are really two big questions that we normally start with. What do you need to be rid of, and what do you lack, right? So when we need to be rid of something in our body, it's because it is something that is foreign that has come into our body, like toxins, infections, and things like that. And then there are certain things that we don't have enough of. And typically, those things are the nutrients, right? Because calories, we all have enough of calories. So those are the really big questions. What do we need to get rid of because it's accumulated inside our body? And what do we need to put in? So there are 6 things that cause chronic illness. 6. Toxins around us every day. Most people don't care about the quality of water they drink, or the food, or the source of the food, or the washing of food and vegetables, or washing their hands, right? We can go on. And then we talk about allergens. There are lots of food additives, chemicals, products, dusts. Then there are microbes. A lot of the infection that we're talking about with the product you just saw that you use to reduce your microbial load. That load is significant because there are microorganisms around us all the time. Then we talked about stress, the big one. You know,
The big one would be perceived stress.
no, all of them.
Oh, all of them.
Yes. How many people here sleep 8 hours a night? Well, no, not young people. But you see, most people don't sleep 8 hours. And if you don't sleep 8 hours, you're stressed.
Yes.
If I put you on our machine, you're going to see that you have a lot of stress. And stress is really dangerous because chronic stress, we don't know we're stressed. You see the point? That's the challenge. It's a hidden bad. It's really like some people get on the plane. Before it takes off, you can see them I'm like, why are you stressed? You're already on the plane. If he crashes, you die. That's
That's obvious.
and then people are like, why are you talking like that? Well, that's the only outcome if he doesn't make it. Either you die or you make it. That's it. It's not like there is an escape option.
There's no option, no.
Do you see the point? People get on the plane and they're like, why are you scared? You're going to die or you make it.
That's it.
I'm not stressed. Just accept death. It's going to come, right,
Something
Kobe,
you cannot
right?
control.
Imagine the last few minutes. I was thinking about that last night when they realized the thing was dropping. Gigi must have held Kobe, and Kobe says, all right, we're here together. Let's go. Right? That's the way we go. And we go, and then people cry afterwards we've gone. And we're like, shit, we're enjoying. Now we can eat ice cream without problems. Right? Then there's nutrient deficiency, which is really the big one. And that's really what our work here is about. That if you really, because what we've done is that we've reduced our load for supplements, because there's some people who take, like me, 25, 30 supplements a day. And we really reduce the load in saying, if we just take powders that give us the same amount of nutrients, then I actually can do a meal replacement. So now one of my meals comes from that, which is also my nutrients. And so now, because a lot of people were saying, because this combination here costs about $600 a month. Once I take one meal out, one meal costs me about $10, $15 a day, right? Minimally, 10, 15 bucks. So if I take that out, I'm taking almost $450 out. Then the extra $150 I'm paying for my meal. I mean for the nutrients. You understand? And now I'm getting I know I'm getting everything that I need. And that's the important strategy that we've taken towards nutrient deficiency. Everyone is nutrient deficient.
Do you take all 5 of those in a meal?
Yes, half scoops.
It's to mix it into a 16-ounce bottle.
Yes, plus the Ultra GI Replenish.
All of that?
Well, you're just saying all of it. What about taking 25 capsules?
Or you can break it to 2 times, morning and night.
Yeah,
I
right?
take one morning
It's
and night.
just, so these are the capsules to add on top of that. But these powders, the 6 powders, you shake that, and then you just take one of
You
each.
can break it to 2, like
Yeah,
morning and evening,
yeah.
so if that's what you like.
But because, no, I use it as a meal replacement because I don't take lunch. So I take that, and then I only eat dinner, right? So that way you're getting your nutrient load, and sometimes you want to then eat too much at dinner, which is also not a good thing, okay? So let's then talk about, the key problem is, look on the blue side, are those 7 imbalances. Everybody here who goes to the doctor is complaining about one of those 7 things. Hormonal and neurotransmitter imbalances, oxidative reduction imbalances, and mitochondriopathy, which is the whole issue of fatigue. Detox and biotransformational imbalances, GI problems, Crohn's disease, IBD, IBS, GERD, right, ulcers. It's a big, big problem. Everybody's having those problems. Immune and inflammatory imbalances, we all hear about a lot of autoimmune illnesses. Digestive, absorptive, and gut microbiological imbalances. Structural imbalances, right? Pain, muscle, arthritis, all kinds of things. And then mind-body, body-mind imbalances, which are all the brain imbalances. So those imbalances is really what is at the heart of chronic illness. Everybody has them. Because as we grow older, our body is not as optimized. It's amazing that we've built a healthcare system where we only go when the car breaks down. Imagine if you drove your car like that. You only take it for service when it breaks down. That's what you're doing with your body. Instead, you take your car for service because they say at 5,000 miles, 10,000 miles, you need to go for service. How are you servicing your body?
every 2 years or 1 year you have to check up.
Yeah, but you're just doing a checkup. You're not servicing. Checkup is different from service.
Change.
Right? And so that's what we're doing here. You need to service the body regularly. Like with the detox, you should do a detox every 3 to 6 months. The body needs to remove the toxins every 3 to 6 months. If you're not
So
doing
9
it
months to a year for it to the body
to heal the GI tract, yeah. Do you understand? So that's the program that we support here, that you build a roadmap of service, right? I remember I drove a Porsche Cayenne Turbo for like 12 years, and I serviced it twice a year. Cost me a lot of money. But the thing about that car was that when I was selling it, actually the guy who was repairing the car bought it because that car had been maintained properly throughout the years. So the engine was really a great engine. That's the point with our bodies. When we are not servicing it regularly, then we're wondering why we're getting sick. And so the key issues that we do here are a couple of things. Number one, we offer a full baseline of diagnostics. Very important, because most of your doctors do not do a comprehensive diagnostic, because insurance doesn't cover a comprehensive diagnostic. Our system in America pays only for when you're sick, what they call a medical necessity. It does not pay to give you advance notice, right? And what is advance notice? Because if you're going to have high blood pressure, we can see the indications early on because blood pressure doesn't jump from 120/80 to 160/100 overnight. It went to 125, then it went to 128, then it went to 130, then it jumped to 140, then it went to 145. If you had been paying attention, you would have known what to do so you don't start taking high blood pressure medication. You see the point? And so therefore those checkups, that baseline is very important. Our baseline is very comprehensive. We do a genetic risk assessment. You need to understand the risks that you inherited, plus what we call the epigenetic risk. That is all the bullshit you've done in your life till today. You want to find out how bad you have destroyed the engine. Is my engine a good engine? We're not just talking about mileage. You know, that's the bullshit, right? My friend was telling me yesterday about buying a car. He says, well, Charles, it's not just about mileage. You want to look at the accident history, right? Isn't it? That's what we are doing with the baseline. We're not just saying, oh, I'm 35 years old. Well, how have you used this body? Oh, I had 3 accidents. I fell off the roof. I used to do them. Now we're like, oh, shit, okay. We need to think again about it, taking over this body, right? And that's why insurances are very careful. Because everybody comes with a compromised body, right? So they don't like, what do they call that thing? Pre-existing conditions, yes, right? We are also worried about that. So, but when you do your genetic and your epigenetic, it gives us a lot of knowledge about that. Then the second thing we want to do is that we really want to look at your stool. Do you have leaky gut? How compromised is your stool? How is your metabolism? How is your absorption, right? Then we want to look at your urine. We're looking at 2 things in your urine. We're looking at your hormones, the 4 key hormones, cortisol, which shows how you're managing stress throughout the day. We want to then look at the sex hormones that are really very critical, progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. And
what is this test called? What is that test called?
It's a urine test.
Oh, the urine.
It's a Dutch test. So there are 2 tests. We do a hormone test and a toxicology test. The urine test then tells us all the toxics. You know, I have people who've walked in here and say, oh, but I'm vegetarian. And we run it, and they're high toxicity. Why?
So for the urine test, you said you check the hormone test and then the toxicology?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
through
toxicity.
that
Yes,
test. Okay.
yeah. And for the toxicity, if you're eating a lot of vegetable from Central Valley, because of fracking, there's a lot of heavy metals in the vegetables, right? So if you don't wash them well or really prepare them well, you're going to have those heavy metals. And what do heavy metals do when they get into our body? Who knows the answer? Apart from my staff. What do heavy metals do when they get into your body? Like mercury, strontium.
Goes to your brain. Like it makes you,
No,
it can be fatal.
it
Or
doesn't
the
it-
liver.
Doesn't it,
Radioactive.
well, the metals, don't they, it
Radiation.
changes your inside, or your, I don't know, whatever, your
The
DNA.
radio.
Yeah,
compromises.
so heavy metals, why do we call them heavy metals? That's why most people in Southern California do not like the nuclear plant, because the water that comes out of there is heavy water, and that has radioactive element. What's the issue with radioactivity?
It's a light, it's a light.
So radioactivity emits radiation at a certain frequency that destroys the frequency of your organs. And that's what causes cancer. So when you take heavy metals, that's what you're doing. You're bringing things with a different frequency into the body that then begins to impact the circadian rhythm of the organs themselves. So testing toxicology is very, very important. So you know how much toxicity, and that's why the detox is a critical issue. You know, what does it say here? Detox is better than a diet, right? Dieting is calorie cutting exercise, results in fat loss, but it increases your toxic density, which is stored in the fat. Because when now you take out the toxicity, some of that, when you take the fat out, the fat goes and leaves the toxicity behind, because most of the toxicity sits inside the fat, right? So you rebound because the body is going to store fat to reduce the toxic load. That's how the body restores the fat. But detox removes the toxins from the body and creates lean muscles that releases excess fat. That's what a detox does. And then maintains a clean, balanced diet, keeps the body naturally lean and reduces the toxic burden. Toxicity is a big issue in a culture where obesity and inflammation is on the rise. People do not detox. They don't go and flush their system, right? Like you go and flush your air conditioning, flush the oil, right? Which you do during service. So if you're not flushing your system, it's clogged up. And that's the cause of disease. We also run a series of blood tests because we want to understand your metabolism. We want to understand your lipids. Very important that we know your HDL and LDL and cholesterol and all of that. We also want to know your sugar metabolism with your HbA1c and how that's progressing. Because if you're 50 and your HbA1c is around 5.6, 5.7, that's pre-diabetic. But your doctor would tell you that it's okay.
No, they tell you, why, I go to the VA, so they say, no, it's pre-diabetic.
All right,
I
but
think like 5.6.
yeah, but most of that doctors say it's green, it's okay.
No, they don't say it's okay.
No, the VA is different
Yeah,
because it
that's how
has
you do it.
different rules. Yeah,
Right.
because VA has become very prevention oriented for the veterans. So it's now focused to reduce its budget. It wants to make sure you guys go to the gym,
Right.
you do healthy things, right? But the rest of the doctors don't care because if you're sick, they're going to make more money. The VA is a very different system. So if you're 5.6, that's pre-diabetic. You need to start reducing it. So those are the things that we want to make sure everybody's on top of. You know, people is like, well, but my doctor said I'm fine. Well, I said, when you die, you can go sue your doctor, right? And most people don't know their numbers. Most people know how much is in their bank account. But how many people here know their HbA1c number?
I have to think of a paperwork again. What is it called? You said what?
The HbA1c number.
Your A1C.
Yeah, the A1c number.
Oh, A1C.
You should know it. Because why should you know it?
So you know your just the glucose and sugar in your body.
Correct. Because that is really the biggest killer for cardiometabolic illnesses. So if you don't know it, but you know your bank account balance, it means you're not keeping track of what is important, right? And therefore, every time you see a carbohydrate or a sugar, you need to say, I cannot, because I have 5.6.
Sorry, I cannot eat.
You cannot. Or if it's carbohydrate, only 1 spoon, that's it. You cannot, because your body is not metabolizing sugar very well. That's what it says. If it's up to 5.6, warning signal, you have insulin resistance, which is going to lead to some big problems, because once you're 6.0, you're now on medication. That's why one of the things that people are talking about enhancing your lifespan is to reduce your caloric intake. And there's some people like me who are even taking metformin, which is a recommendation for diabetics, because I also want to just keep lowering my sugar and glucose architectural requirements. Do you understand? And we take that for lifespan, but that's for another lecture, another day.
It's not there and all that drinking.
Well, I didn't put it because it's a prescription. So these are the other supplements that we take for increasing lifespan, but I'm going to talk about lifespan at our next lecture in more detail. Any questions? I didn't get your name. Malu. Tell me, any questions, comments for today? You're going to be back, Malu? Probably. It's not a good answer.
It's very informative, so now I would think of my health more than shopping.
He's smiling. He thinks that's a good idea too. He thinks that's a good idea, right? No,
we need more education.
Yeah, it's more important that we talk about health than worrying about shopping, because you know, even Kobe had a lot of money and he died, right? But that was an accidental death. But we need to think about life, the context of how much time we have and the quality of life we want to have. And your name is
Eldon.
Eldon. What did give me some feedback? Questions?
No, I'll learn a lot from you.
Okay, thank you.
Stuff that I don't know about. At least I.
Yes.
Little,
Come again, because we tend to run this every Saturday except when I'm not in town. All right? Jad, every here Saturday you're here. Thank you for your...
You're welcome. It's good to thank you for your giving us such information, helpful and useful for us.
Thank you. Thank you, Jad. Deep appreciation. Elizabeth?
Well, I really think I'm doing well on my diet until I come here and I feel like, oh, there's so much more I can do. So it's always helpful because it always incentivizes me to do better.
Mm-hmm. So Elizabeth has just brought up a very important point. So we call our company Anti-Fragility Health. For us, it's a journey to really good health. And that on that journey, we are challenged by a lot of forces. One of the big ones is age. So every time you're doing it, you're still aging, right? Aging itself comes with its complication. Then there's viruses, then there is toxicity and all these things. So you keep improving as long as you have the mindset that I want to have a long and healthy life, which is what all of us want to have. So in my lectures, we emphasize that goal, a long and healthy life. And it's very important that we focus on that, because 60 to 70% of our healthcare budget is spent in the last 6 months of life. Because Americans don't like to die. But they also don't want to live healthy. They want both. I want to live long and not worry about my health. And it doesn't work, right? If you notice, most of us who are dying, the last 6 months, they're on 10, 20 medications, surgery, amputation, this, blah, blah. And we're paying for that. And yet we want free health care. Free health care we cannot have if we're not taking care of our health. If all of us were collectively taking care of our health, free health care works.
Right.
But how can you have free health care when some people are at McDonald's right now eating? And drinking Coke and eating donuts, right? Beate, welcome back. Happy New Year.
I'm so glad that I can finally come back again.
Finally.
Yes.
Was I?
missed you.
What, oh, you missed me. Look at
Yeah,
you with
I
those
did.
glasses. I thought you were like Ray
It's too
Charles.
bright. No, I can't.
It's too bright.
Gives me a headache.
Yeah. Yes. Well, but thank you
I
for
learned a
coming.
lot again, and now I know how to take my enzymes, and I'm sure it will take care of.
Yes, it's good, especially if you have burns. You should take it early, okay, and just prepare. And I take an extra load. I even take 2.
I take.
So for my
Enzymes.
enzymes, even the probiotics, sometimes I take 2 if I'm going to be eating a lot of meat. All right. So you want to do things like that. And my friend, how was it?
Good.
Are you understanding my English? I speak slowly.
Yeah, maybe 50%.
All right, that's good. Thank you. And Kim?
Well, this is not a one-day process, throughout. It's a long-term commitment. It's a lifetime commitment. It is. And it's not a quick fix overnight, like you explained. Functional medicine is a long-term process. It's not like you take the pill, then it goes away. So it's required commitment and anticipation
Yeah.
and knowledge.
Thank you, Kim. And so just to follow on what Kim is saying, one of the things I'm going to introduce is that every patient is going to have a service booklet. You know how when you buy your car, they give you a service plan? We're going to be giving all our patients a service booklet in terms of mileage when you need to come in for service. I think you're going to follow that, right? You do it with your car, right? Why are you not doing it with your body?
Now, you say you do blood tests. Do you use insurance for that? Can we use
Some of it, yes. Some is covered by insurance. The challenge we have with insurance is that insurance only covers certain tests. And the problem with that is that we want to give you, at least as the first time, a really comprehensive baseline. And we're using companies that are really the top companies with patents. Do you understand? That those tests are very important. Whether you do it once and then every other year or 2 years, it's very important that you do that. Okay, it's really, really important. Okay? So Desiree, how was this? I know
really
you're a
like
new
it.
patient, you're just enjoying this.
Really nice.
We appreciate your faithfulness also. See,
took a lot of
for all
notes.
of us who are on this journey, we know it's hard.
Very, because I know you said you don't eat sugar. I'm like, that's like telling a kid don't eat candy.
Yes.
Like, well, yeah.
It's hard.
Yes. Yes.
We always challenge by
But
that.
you're feeling better, right? Slowly.
I still get like
Cramps
yeah,
or
well,
pain.
The bloating.
Yeah, and then it just
Slowly that will go once we
And I
fix
have
the
the
gut.
arthritis.
Did you do the detox?
This is what I'm doing. I think.
Oh,
This one.
is that the detox you're
Oh,
doing?
it's the inflammation one. Inflammation.
Yeah, but you haven't done the
You need to do
detox.
the 7 days.
Yes.
It's really good.
The 7-day or the 10-day.
This don't even taste good. Though. Like,
Use coconut.
Yeah, she's gonna show you how to do that. The detox is gonna take some weight off and gonna get you to relax a bit.
And when you put the taste, don't use raw.
Okay, guys. So thank you, Desiree. Thank you for coming. Angela, thank you, Mike.
and you have a class every Saturday?
Yes, when I'm in town.
Oh, next week.
And we're also going to be announcing all the classes, right? So if you go
You don't have
to,
a calendar or something, right?
well, go on Facebook.
See, I don't have a Facebook. I don't get it. I won't get it.
All right, we're on YouTube also. We're on Instagram and a
email.
lot
Just
of
send an
other
email.
My
places.
Instagram,
No, email or text.
yeah, I have an email.
Yeah, send to email.
Yeah.
Like to email them.
So we will.
Or
we'll
just text. Or
Text.
just
It's
Yeah.
we
For
feel
me,
text.
'cause then I
So
choose.
always just ask. We have a calendar, but I make changes to it sometimes, and then I'm traveling. So I'm gonna run this workshop today, and then next week's workshop is what, the 7th?
The 7 and that's it.
And then I will be away for about 3 weeks, or 3
It's the
weeks.
same class you're doing for next Saturday.
No, I don't do the same class.
Oh, you don't?
Always.
I tend to repeat something. Half of it is the same, because every time we run the same class, like Elizabeth was saying, they learn new things, right? Because I then emphasize different things, even though I'm running the same class. And then I add something new, right? Like today, I didn't talk about lifespan. So there are 2 aspects to longevity: health and life. Length of life and length of health, right? Quality of health. So today I've been talking mostly about health. I didn't talk about how you extend your life. Okay, so those are the two aspects that we talk about. I didn't cover the other part today, but we're going to make sure. And thank you, Dr. He was here, and Louise, Angela, Mike, Grace, thank you very much. And have a good afternoon, guys. Thank you for being here and attentive.